Okay, so it might seem a bit of a strange thing to do on Good Friday, but we are going to think for a few moments now about jokes, okay? Hands up if you like a good joke, okay? One or two humorless people that know. Everyone here, everyone pretty much likes a good joke, don't they? So what we're going to do this morning is we're going to hear some jokes, and you are going to have to judge which is the best of these jokes. Now, do you think you can do that? Now, different people have different criteria. Some people like laugh out loud. Some people like something a bit more subtle. Some people like something that will make children laugh. Other people like jokes that not other people will get because it makes them feel a bit superior. So you've all got different criteria for your jokes. Okay, so let's look at joke number one. Okay, it was an emotional wedding. What's the punchline? Even the cake was in tears. Okay, pretty good. Yep, okay, that's the first one. Okay, next one. I just got fired from my job as a set designer. I left without making a scene. Okay, bit faster on the punchline. Okay, so what do you think of that one? Okay, yep, you remember you've got to judge. There's 5 of these jokes. Okay, next one. 2 Wi-Fi engineers got married. The punchline, the reception was terrific. Do you like that one? Okay, next one. What do you call a group of rabbits jumping backwards? Okay, it's particularly relevant to me, this one. You call it a receding hairline. Okay, children are thinking, well, I don't get any of these. Okay, last one. What did the Buddhist... Now, there's someone who had their Siri on their phone who actually, in this congregation this morning, who actually the first time I heard this. Okay, and I love this joke. What did the Buddhist say to the hot dog vendor? They said, make me one with everything. Now, that's quite subtle. You need to know a bit of theology to sort of get that one. Right, okay, let's have all 5 jokes up there. Okay, now you've got to make a decision. This is very important. There are some big decisions that we face in life, and this is one of them. You've got to decide which of those jokes is actually your one. You can only vote for one of the jokes, okay? So make your decisions now. Have you all decided? Okay, let's see what wins the best joke. Okay, so put up your hand if you think the wedding cake and its tears is the best one. Oh, Harriet's gone for that. Bella's gone for that. Okay, Mason's gone for that one as well. Good for you. Okay, what about the sacked set designer not making a scene? I think I would go for that. I like that one. That's my sort of joke. Okay, it's around about level pegging at the moment. The married Wi-Fi engineers and their reception. Who liked that one? Lindsay, but she has just got engaged, so... Oh, is that okay to mention that? Okay, the next one, okay, a line of rabbits jumping backwards, the receding hairline. Oh, a lot of people like that. Okay, there is a bit of an Easter connection there. Okay, what about the Buddhist and the hot dog vendor? Okay, well, I think the line of rabbits jumping backwards actually won. So that is the joke. Now, why on earth have I started that way on Good Friday? You might think Good Friday is a really solemn day. Why start off talking about jokes? Well, there is a reason, and it's this. The reason is that when Jesus was put on that cross 2,000 years ago, most of the people present thought the idea that he could be both a king and being crucified was the biggest joke that there could possibly be. Not a nice joke, of course, a really cruel and horrible joke. And sometimes jokes can be really nasty, can't they? But to most people present, the whole idea of a crucified king, there were people who got crucified and there were kings, but there weren't people who were crucified kings. The whole idea was ridiculous. Kings were meant to be winners, not losers. Kings were meant to be powerful, not weak. Kings were meant to crucify other people, not be crucified themselves. And that's why in that Bible reading that John read to us just a few moments ago, virtually all of the people in it, the soldiers, the priests, the crowd, even the other people who were being crucified with Jesus, hurled insults at him. They thought the idea that he was a crucified king was a complete joke. And that's what explains several details in the story. Why did the soldiers make that nasty crown of thorns and put it on Jesus' head, which must have been incredibly painful? They did it to show what a complete joke it was to have a crucified king. Why did the soldiers put that purple robe around Jesus when they were mocking him? A purple robe was what a king wore. They did it to show what a complete joke it was to be a crucified king? Why did Pontius Pilate, the Roman governor, order that a notice be put above Jesus' head on the cross, saying in 3 languages, Hebrew, Greek, and Latin, the King of the Jews? Why did Pilate say to the crowd, behold your king? He did it to show what a complete joke it was to be a crucified king. But what the gospel stories show us, what the Bible tells us, is that far from being a joke, Jesus dying on a cross, Jesus being a crucified king, was actually, whatever it looked like, a mighty victory. It was God winning the mightiest victory possible over sin and evil and everything bad in the world. See, the thing is, Jesus was totally full of God's love. More full of God's love than anyone else has ever been before or since. Totally and utterly full of God's love. That's why Jesus did the amazing things he did. That's why he healed people. That's why Jesus had time for people that no one else had time for. That's why Jesus did all the amazing things that he did. But Jesus never did anything more amazing than when he died on the cross. And when Jesus died on the cross, evil, all of the evil in this world that had put him there, came face to face with God's love. And because God's love is more powerful than anything, that evil was defeated. And there were 3 things that showed, or a number of things that showed that was happening. When Jesus died, we're told that an earthquake happened. We're told that the ground split open. It showed that something earth-shattering was occurring. We're also told that when Jesus died, the curtain in the temple split from top to bottom. Why? To show that there was now nothing getting in the way of people with God. Complete forgiveness had come because of God's love in Jesus. And perhaps most amazingly of all, we're told that when Jesus died, a Roman centurion, one of the people who'd been there executing Jesus, probably the one in charge of it, suddenly said, truly this man was the Son of God. God's love had won such a mighty victory when Jesus died that evil had been totally defeated. Its power had been taken away, showing that Jesus was never more a triumphant king than when he died on the cross. So people at the time thought it was a big joke. They thought it was a sort of cruel and nasty joke, but a joke nonetheless. And plenty of people think it's a bit of a joke today. The idea that someone dying in such a horrible way can be anything other than a terrible tragedy and a complete failure. And St. Paul said that to many people, the message of Christ crucified, the message of a crucified king, was and is total foolishness. But he went on to say as well that to those whom God had called, it's the power of God and it's the wisdom of God. And that's because rather than being a joke, the way that God revealed his love to the world to the fullest extent, and the way that God broke the power of evil, the way that he set the world free so that we can belong to him and be completely forgiven and restored and made part of his people, it was through being a crucified king. Far from being a joke, it was the most powerful and wonderful thing that has ever happened. It means we can be forgiven and restored. So let's turn for a few minutes to prayer.